are you and I.
In 1952, Juliet, a wealthy 13-year-old British girl, transfers to a new school in Christchurch and befriends Pauline, a 14-year-old girl from a working-class family.
We use French names in this class. You can choose your own.
They form a strong friendship due to their shared history of being isolated and hospitalized due to severe illness at a young age.
I've got scars. They're on my lungs. I spent months in bed during the war.
Pauline admires Julia for her brash, arrogance, and beauty. Both girls also love art and music and adores Mario Lanza. In contrast to the peaceful intellectual life Juliet shares with her family, Pauline's relationship with her mother Honora is hard and the two constantly have misunderstandings.
You are sleeping in the house where we can keep an eye on you. Well, I guess I take after you then.
Pauline spends most of her time with Juliet's family, where she feels accepted. Together, Juliet and Pauline paint, write stories, create figurines, and ultimately create a fantasy kingdom called Borovnia. This becomes their safe haven whenever they are together, and they felt so engrossed that they believe they can write a good story. This is the setting for an adventure novel they will write together, which they hope will be published and made into a Hollywood movie. As the two bond imagining their fantasies, it becomes as real to them as the real world. Juliet introduces Pauline to the idea of a fourth world, a heaven without Christians, where music and art are celebrated. Juliet believes that is where she will go when she dies.
I'm going to the fourth world. It's an absolute paradise of music, art, and pure enjoyment.
Pauline is being invited on a trip with Juliet and her parents.
Oh, look at you two. Couple of Borovnian princesses, if ever I saw them.
Then Juliet's parents announce their plans to go on a trip together, leaving Juliet alone. Hysterical that she will be alone, Juliet experiences the fourth world for the first time and realizes that it is a safe country where everything is beautiful. She asks Pauline to come with her, and Pauline also becomes visible to this world. Since Pauline admires Juliet so much, she is believed to be under Juliet's spell, believing such fantasies. This common spiritual vision confirms their belief in the fourth world and begins to influence their perception of events in the everyday world. When Juliet is diagnosed with tuberculosis and is admitted to a clinic, she and Pauline begin to write each other not only as themselves, but also in their roles as the Borovnian royal couple.
My dear Charles, I miss you and adore you in equal amounts.
During this time, Pauline has a sexual relationship with one of the men who rents a room in their house, and Juliet becomes jealous.
John has fallen in love with me. Is that why you haven't replied to my last letter? Oh, no, silly.
Their fantasy life becomes a useful escape from the real world, and the pair develop increasingly violent and even murderous fantasies about their oppressors. Their relationship deepens after Juliet is released from the clinic. Juliet's father is aware of their bond with Pauline and consults Pauline's parents and takes Juliet to her doctor.
Juliet's been behaving in a rather disturbed.
The doctor suspects Pauline of her homosexuality, which explains her dramatic weight loss and her increasing anger towards her mother. Juliet's parents announce their intention to divorce and leave Christchurch, leaving Juliet to stay with relatives in South Africa. The idea of breaking up worries the two girls even more, and they plan to run away together. When this plan becomes impossible, The two share a bathtub and talk about Pauline's mother's murder, considering that she is the main obstacle for them being together. The two girls spent the last 3 weeks together at Juliet's house. This was the chance they spent more time together and even went to see a movie. That night, emotions took over them and they made love. Pauline returns home and the two complete their plan of murdering Pauline's mother. Honora plans a trip for the three of them to Victoria Park. After tea, the three of them walk down the steep slope. When Nora bends down to pick up a pink amulet that the girls have deliberately dropped, Juliet and Pauline bludgeon her to death with pieces of broken brick stuffed into old stockings. At the end of the film, it reveals that Pauline and Juliet were arrested shortly after the murder, sentenced to 5 years in prison as they were too young to face the death penalty. They were released separately in 1959 on the condition that they never see each other again.
Want more queer content? Then please subscribe and hit the notification bell.